Hello, welcome back to Statistics and Mathematics YouTube channel. Today I'm going to continue our series of studies on mean and variance of discrete random variables. Discrete random variables. So here we have the mean and the variance here. So there is the formula for the mean. That's what? Summation of what? X times probability of what? X. And here our X here is a random variable, and here is what? The probability of what? X. Right? So here we are just going to multiply our X by what? The probability of what? X. Of it, this X is what? The random variable, right? So when we come here, our X is what? The random variable 0 and 1, and the probability of X is what? The respective probability for this random variable. So when you come down here, this is the respective probability for 0, respective probability for what? 1, right? So that is how we can find what? Our mean for the discrete random variable. And then for the variance too, we have what? Variance here is what? The summation of X minus mu all squared times probability of what? X. So X here is the random variable. The mu here is the mean that you calculate here, and the probability of what? X for respective what? X, right? So here we are going to calculate or compute for the mean and the variance and the standard deviation, right? So here our X will be what? 0 and then 1, and here will be probability of what? X, right? So probability of X is what? The respective probability for the random variable. So here the 0 here, and here will be what? 0.5. Then we have 1 here, here will be what? 0.15. So we have been asked to calculate for the mean and the variance, and then for the variance to use that variance to calculate for the standard deviation. So here, this is how we calculate for the mean, right? The mean here would be what? The random variable times the probability, right? When you are done multiplying them, then you just add them. So when you come here, now let's go to multiply 0 by what? 0.5. So you're having 0 by 0.5 plus 1 by what? 0.5 here. So here 1 times what? 0.5. When you are done, we just add them. So here 0 by 0.5 will give us 0 plus 1 times 0.5 will give us what? 0.5. So when you add everything, you are getting what? 0.5 as our answer, right? What about the variance, right? The variance too, I taught you how you find it, right? Is summation of X minus mu all squared times the probability. So X will be our random variable 0. So when we come here, this will be 0 minus our mean, and we got our mean to be what? 0.5. So 0 minus 0.5 all squared times the probability, and we have the probability here to be what? 0.5. So that one will be 0.5 times 0 minus 0.5 all squared plus 0.5 bracket open, right? The 0.5 there is what? The probability. So we have 0.5 here, bracket open, 1 minus 0.5, which is what? The mean that we got here, 1 minus 0.5 all squared. When you are done, we are just going to add everything to get 0.25, right? So that one too will be our variance. So when you square root the variance, right, you are going to get what? Our standard deviation, right? So square root of 0.25 will give us 0.15 to be our what? Variance, right? So this is what? Example under that. So let's solve more example for us to get understanding of what we are doing here. So he said find the mean, variance and standard deviation of the number of girls in a family with 2 children, right? In my introduction to probability, I told you guys how to find a sample space for this random variable, right? So here we have the number of girls in a family. A family can have either a boy or a girl, right? So when you pair them, you are going to get this sample space BB, BJ, GB, and JJ. So if you don't know how to find a sample space, kindly go to my channel on this same series, introduction to probability, to learn how to find the sample space for this one, right? And then he said a number of girls in a family with 2 children, right? So for this pair, we can get a random variable to be what? 0. In this pair, you can see that there is a pair that doesn't have any girl, right? Which will be the BB 0, and then we will have 1, right? And the one here will be, and then the one here will be a pair that have only 1 girl, and then the 2 will be a pair that have 2 girls, right? So once we have this random variable here, right? Once we have this random variable here, what's the probability of getting no girl, right? So we have this sample space, probability of getting no girl, we have this sample space. It means that we are going to have only 1, right? So number of events will be 1 divided by number of sample space. Number of sample space, you count everything here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the reason why probability of that our X is equal to 0 means probability that we don't have any girl, right? Which will be equal to 1 divided by 4. And then once you point it on the calculator, you're going to get 0.25. What's the probability of getting at least one girl, we probably that our x is equal to 1. So if you have one girl, it means that here will be what b at least one girl will be one gene. So here we have one gene, here we have one gene. So our number of events to be what 2. We are going to have 2 divided by 4, and then when you are going to get 0.5, right? And then for having 2 girls, you are going to have probability of having 2 girls, s is equal to 2, of which you are going to get 1 divided by 4, which will be equal to 0.25, right? So this will be what our random variable rate is respective for our probabilities, right? So when our x is equal to 0, we are having a probability to be what 0.25. When our x is equal to 1, we are having a probability to be 0.50. When our x is equal to 2, we are having a probability to be what 0.25. When we add everything here, you are supposed to what get 1. 1. Please, you are supposed to get 1. When we add everything here, you are supposed to get 1. So let's calculate for our mean, right? We just learned that for the mean is a summation of what the random variable times the respective probability, right? So here 0 times 0.25, you are going to get this one, plus 1 times 0.5, you are getting 1 times 0.5 here, plus 2 times what 0.25, of which you are getting them. Once you add everything here, you are supposed to get what 1 as our answer. What about the variance? The variance is what x, that's a random variable, minus the mean. So here when you come here, you are going to take a random variable, that's 0. So 0 minus what the mean, which is 1, right? All squared times the respective probability, which is what 0.25. So here will be 0.25 times 0 minus 1, all squared, plus here to be 0.5, bracket open, right? Bracket open, 1 minus 1, 0, 1, right? Because here our random variable here is 1, and then the mean is what 1. So when you subtract all squared, plus 0.25, bracket open, 2 minus 1, of which the random variable here is 2, our mean is 1, all squared, times what 0.25. When you add everything, you are going to get 0.50, right, to be our variance. So if you want the standard deviation, square root of what the variance is going to give us the standard deviation. So here square root of the variance will give us 0.701, right, of which you are going to get our standard deviation to be this one, right? So let's go to our working sheet to solve more questions, right? So here it said use the probability distribution given to answer the given what question, right? So here we have our x to be 0, 2, and 5, and we have p of s to be 0.2, 0.3, and 2y, right? So he said the first question is find the following as we find y, and then we know that when we sum the probability is equal to 1, right? So here you are just going to sum our probability and equate it to 1 to get what our y. So here you have 0.2 plus 0.3 plus 2y is equal to 1. So when we sum everything, you are going to, when we sum 0.2 plus 0.3, you are getting 0.5 plus 2y, which is equal to 1, right? So here we move that one here, and you are going to get you are going to get 1 minus what 0.5. So here we are going to get 2y is equal to 0.5, because when you subtract 0.5 from 1, we are getting 0.5, and here we are having 2y. We are looking for y, not 2y. Right, so here we are going to divide both sides by 2 to get what our y. When we divide both sides by 2, we are going to get our final answer to be 0.25. Right, so when you get our final answer to be 0.25, I have to draw our table again. So here for our table, we know that here is x. We know that here is x, and here is probability of what x. Right, so and then for the 0 you have 0.2, for 2 you have 0.3, and for 5 here we are having 2 into bracket of y, of which our y is what 0.25. When you multiply, you are going to get 0.5, right? Yes. So let's go on to calculate for our expectation of x. Expectation of x is just summation of s times probability of x, of which you are going to multiply 0 by 0.2 plus 2 times 0.3 plus 5 times what 0.5. That is what you have done here. And then when you add everything, you are getting 3.1. And for our variance, you know that our variance is what summation, right? Yes, our variance is summation of x minus mu all squared times probability of what x, and then we know that here is 0, so 0 minus our mean, which is 3.1 all squared times the probability, which is 2 here, right, plus 2 minus 3.1, of which our random variable here is 2, minus our mean, which is 3.1 all squared times the probability, which is 0.3, plus 5 minus 3.1 all squared times 0.5, of which our probability is 0.5, right? So when you add everything here, you are going to get 4.09, right? If you want the standard deviation, square root of what the variance is going to give us as standard deviation, which is 2.0 which is square root of 4.09, and we are going to get 2.0223, right? So here, that is what we are having here. So this is Statistics and Mathematics YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, like and share so that this video will get to your friend. And don't forget to leave your comment at the comment section below. So this is the end to our class for mean and variance, our class for the statistical method 1. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to solve multiple choice questions for you guys, for you to really appreciate how when in an exams you are going to I may have multiple choice questions, how you are going to answer the questions. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Bye, have a great day.